That as far as I'm concerned, there will be absolutely no public comment about the Albany situation or any other market that may or may not be available for relocation or movement. So if you have questions about Albany, I would suggest you just not ask them, because I'm not going to answer them. I'm not going to spend time on the situation, and my focus continues to be, as all of you know, since the day we bought this franchise 10 years ago, to establish a long-term position in this marketplace and to work toward a solution to a renovated or new building. And that hasn't changed from the time we moved here in October of 2000 to today. And our focus continues to be on extending our lease. We began that conversation in earnest in April of 2009 and continues today. We had a good discussion today. We've got less than 3 months to go in the current lease, but I remain optimistic that we're going to be able to find common ground and be able to do exactly what we've intended to do from the get-go, which is to extend our position here and establish a longer-term position moving forward. That's my focus. It continues to be my focus. We're in a playoff hunt. We've got a good opportunity as a club to compete for a championship. I want to make sure we're doing what we need to do for our partner in Buffalo to provide our players with the assets and the resources they need to do that. But I will take no questions about Albany or Springfield or any other market, and I will make no public comment about it.
Right. How important is it for you as an owner of a team to put yourself in the best economic situation to do your due diligence before entering an agreement and extension of this lease?
It's critical. It's part of what any business owner would want to do and needs to do, whether it's in this business or any other business. And that's always been a part of our conversation with the county and with the trustees, and we try and find common ground in terms of meeting and exceeding both of our challenges and opportunities. So economics are critical. We look at our situation here as a long-term one. If economics were critical, 4 or 5 years ago we would have moved to Worcester. We had that opportunity. A lease was up. There were opportunities from that particular market and an open building and a desire for a club to move into it. You always have to look at what else is out there. And we certainly did it then, and we chose to not make a move then, and we're hoping to continue our presence and our commitment to this community.
It's fair to say you're doing that now, correct?
We always do it. Every team does it. And everybody else in the industry understands and acknowledges and knows when leases are up, when affiliations agreements are extended, and you know, there are no secrets in this business. And in the case of Albany, you've got a management company that has been in play for a long time, and they know what's going on.
The thing that makes this different, we've had this conversation a lot of times over the past 10 years. The thing that makes this one different is it's not as much speculation as this might be happening. There's actually sources who have said the Pirates have a deal with Albany, they're moving, period. If you're still negotiating with the Civic Center, clearly you don't have a deal set in stone with someone else, or why would you be wasting anybody's time here?
My focus is on a deal with the Cumberland County Civic Center. There's no other deal that we have with any other market, any other management company, any other building owner.
How close are you to securing a lease with the Civic Center? Are you closer today than you were yesterday?
I think so, based upon the conversation we just had.
Brian,
I've remained optimistic over this entire period when the conversation started in April in earnest, and I've always been optimistic about that.
Is the situation different this time around than it was 5 years ago, as far as your circumstances go?
Yeah, in a very positive way. We're 5 years further into our commitment to the community. We're 5 years deeper in the development of a business model, and we think we're that much closer to a renovation. So we're excited about where we are today compared to where we were 5 years ago.
Brian, are they warming up to the idea that, I mean, you don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to figure out that the building his best days are behind it? Are they warming up to the idea that you need some help, whether it's in this building or a new venue?
Yeah, and I think we've acknowledged that for years. You know, going back to when there was an opportunity to do a new building in Bayside, when there was the Lincoln Square project. And I'm sure the trustees and Steve can speak honestly about that. Everybody understands there are deficiencies. What we've been trying to do for the last couple of years, and in particular as our task force, which has included us in the city and the county, is to find a solution toward that end, to get us in a better place, both in terms of a sports franchise and as a community that deserves a more state-of-the-art facility. And none of that has changed. Everybody understands the challenge, but I think now more than ever, after having worked together as a task force for this period of time, we feel we've been making progress. It's just a question of when do we get to that finish line.
For the better part of 10 years, there's been a rumor that the Pirates are going here, the Pirates are going there, and you've never addressed it in this kind of forum. Why this specific rumor struck close to home where you think you need to talk to everybody and get this dispelled?
Well, it's not me. I wasn't looking to talk to you guys this afternoon. It's just it's the way that I think the issues have surfaced in other markets, and you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that if you have a building available in the state capital of New York, you look at the usual suspects and the teams that perhaps at the NHL level would have interest in being in New York State. And everybody knows that our lease has been up and that our affiliate is in Buffalo. And that's where we're going to leave it.
Lease ends when? End of May?
End of April.
Have the Sabres had any input into your recent thinking and recent conversations with the Civic Center?
No, only to reaffirm their pleasure and their satisfaction with the relationship to date in Portland, how much the players enjoy playing here, how much our coaching staff enjoys working here. The Sabres are very happy with the current situation.
The fact that we're all here today having this discussion, I'm sure the fan base around knows what's going on as well. How much of that does that raise red flags in your head? Because you still have to sell tickets regardless of what happens.
Raises no red flags in my head, nor should it with our fans. The fans need to know we've been in a position here for 10 years to want to continue to extend it, continue to grow our business. The fans can come to their own conclusions relative to reports out of other cities. But the fact of the matter is I want to extend this lease, I want to get to a renovated building, and I want to continue to be an important part of this community for a long, long time. And I hope the fans understand that. We are not looking for alternatives. We want to get the job done here.
Brian, when Janet Marie Smith was here a few years ago, she had some great ideas, because I remember walking through the Civic Center with her. Is that still something that's on the table?
Absolutely. We are currently working with a consultant that's been hired to attempt to evaluate return on investment against some of Janet's ideas. Some of the previous renovation studies that have been presented to the trustees have some merit. So that is all very much in play, and we're optimistic about the work that is now being done by Brailsford and Dunleavy, who has done work in this community before, and we should get their report in the next 6-7 weeks, and perhaps that's going to be a turning point for us, but that remains to be seen.
Is 2012 still the date in your mind and in the county's mind as far as?
I can't speak for the county, but I don't have any particular date in mind. For us, it's been one step at a time toward a finish line. So I'm not going to speculate on a renovation timeline or any of that. I think that's further down the road.
When May comes around, if there should be no movement on their part as far as renovation or any concrete plans for that, what do you do then?
Well, I can't speak to that at this point. We know the deadline of our lease. We're working toward closure, and I can't think about what May's going to bring.
This has happened before when you've not come down to the last minute on a lease, has it?
I think we might have been here at another time. I can't remember how close we were getting to a deadline, but that is not an unusual situation for leases to get themselves in, and you just continue to work toward a solution.